How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another official OnlineBookClub.org Facebook Live. I am on here with audio from Book of the Month author from Bluewater, Walkabout into Africa, Tina Dreffin. Tina, how you doing today?
Hey, fantastic. Good to hear your voice.
Yes, I'm glad we finally got this going. We tried to get a split screen going live. It was having a little technical difficulties. So you know what? This is the best we're going to do. But hey, I'm excited that you're here, Tina, and I'm excited to talk to you about your book and dive all into that.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Awesome. Okay, so first off, give us the premise of Bluewater Walkabout into Africa. I do the social media for Online Book Club, so I've been promoting you. I feel like I know you, but tell us about your book, and then we'll dive into you as an author as well.
Okay. Bluewater Walkabout into Africa is a story of our expedition as a family when my husband and I took our two sons and their two friends from South Africa up the west coast of Africa into Namibia and across the Atlantic Ocean all the way down to South America and up into the Caribbean. So as you can imagine, everything went wrong that was possible to go wrong. And so it was quite an adventurous story to share.
But I feel like you also dub yourself as like the best parents ever for taking your kids and their friends on a trip like that. They had to be really excited. Not only did they get to go, they get to bring their friends. That's like awesome.
Yeah, well, I thought it was kind of crazy at first myself, but it kept our sons entertained. But I think it was the hardest on me because I was worried about the other two boys' safety, and they weren't used to parental guidance and authority from another person.
Okay.
So they pretty much just ignored me, which, for their safety aspect, and it just scared me to death.
Yeah.
So there's a lot about that in the book. But we all did have a pretty good time, and I do not cast myself as a perfect parent. I'm telling you, all parents know who have teenagers around, especially on a boat 24/7 in a small space. They're just winging it and surviving, let me tell you.
Well, you obviously did something, right? Because you're writing a book about it. If something went too wrong, I don't think there'd be a book. So, so tell me about how long were you guys out there for?
We were out there for a total of 3 months, but it seemed like 3 years.
3 months. Not only are you away from home for 3 months, but you're in this land where was this the first time you went to Africa?
No, I've been to Africa many times.
Okay.
We've been on board a sailboat for 40 years. So we sailed around the world after that. But before that, we had passed through the Mediterranean, stopped on the north coast of Africa and Morocco.
Wow.
So that's part of Africa.
Wow. So where am I talking to you right now? Like, where are you located at this very moment?
I'm in South Carolina, believe it or not.
Okay.
First time I've been to the States in many years.
Really? Wow. That's so cool, though. So I feel like you're the candidate to write a book because you've been through so much and you've seen so much of the world. You probably could write 100 books on your travels and where you've been.
Oh, they're all in my mind, let me tell you. I write them in my mind at night, and I wake up in the morning, and I'd say, well, where'd that book go? I swore I wrote it last night. So, yeah, there's a lot of more stories coming.
Wow, that's so cool, though. So when did you begin writing? Did you write when you were as a child, or is this later in life?
No, I've been writing since as a child because my parents were not TV lovers at the time when TV came out, and color wasn't even around then. Oh dear, I'm dating myself. So I just National Geographic was my bedtime nightstand favorite read, and I would write all night sometimes, and in the morning I loved to write.
That's cool, though. So this is a long time. All you writing is not just things you picked up a few years ago and said, I'm gonna start writing. This has been cultivating over a very long period of time, which is cool because I feel like there's a lot of writers out there that they write these very generic fiction YA books or whatever, and you get them in school and people enjoy them, but it's cool to really read about what somebody's lived through, and I feel like you have a lot that you've lived through.
Oh yes, a lot of crazy stuff I've lived through.
Wow. Well, hey, it's better than boring.
I'm still alive.
No, I'm glad you're still alive as well because then we could do the interview. So it works out. So future plans for books and for writing. Obviously, I'm sure Bluewater Walkabout has been a huge part of your life, but are you working on something new? Like, what are you doing at this moment for your future in writing?
Oh, well, actually, I have a third book coming out. It's already been completed.
Wow.
It's just the copy editing takes forever, and
Mm-hmm.
no matter how many times you put it through. So copy editing, you'll still find another misspelled word or something. But this is about our third leg. As you know, Into Africa was our first leg around the world, and I've written a second book called Bluewater Walkabout into the Caribbean. That's a bestseller on Amazon in my category as well. And so that's part of the Caribbean. So this third book is Bluewater Walkabout into the Pacific, and that's our tales crossing from Ecuador over to Australia, and those are equally wild stories.
I can imagine. So how does it? Okay, so you write these books, and like you said, right on your page it says you're the IPPY Nonfiction Silver Medal ebook award was awarded to you, and you've had people praise your book, and it's critically acclaimed. So how does that feel to have people who don't know you read your stories and love them so much that they want to not only award you a medal but comment online, give you these positive reviews? That must be an amazing feeling.
Oh, it is an amazing feeling. But it's not just my ego that just lights off in fireworks, but it's actually my motivation for writing the books. I want people to get out and explore the world, get out of their cubicles, leave their devices behind, take their kids and go do something crazy. Go on Walkabout. Walkabout is actually an Australian term that means finding yourself. So as a family, find yourself as a core family and let your kids have those memories the rest of their life. So it inspires me, and I'm so thankful.
Wow, that's cool though, and your kids are always going to be forever grateful for the opportunity to go on these adventures, and I hope that more people who do read your books do also get the notion. So you know what, I'm gonna, whether it's traveling to somewhere foreign or even just trying something new. I like that. I never heard that, the term walkabout. You said it's an Australian term?
Yes, it's an Australian term with the Aborigines when they were first on the island before the colonists came from the United Kingdom. The Indians sent their prepubescent boys around the age of 12 into the wild to survive on their own without any food or water, and they used their mind to communicate with their higher spirits, their ancestors, whatever you call God is. They became spiritually enlightened, and they survived through guidance, and they returned home as men.
Wow, it's crazy, like how this path. Of course, all of this happened way back when, but it somehow led to you inspiring other people to write or to do whatever they want to do, and whether it be chase their dreams or go on adventures. And I feel like that's what they did for you in a way. So I don't know, it just feels like this big circle where everyone's really trying to put out something into the world that inspires someone else. So you obviously have written a ton of different books, and I love how everything is consistent around this walkabout theme. But what was, obviously it's not easy writing a book, let alone more than one book. What was the most difficult challenge for you as a writer?
Oh, wow, there's so many to put together. I think really finding a good copy editor is the hardest, because no matter how many times you edit your book, someone's going to come up with a comment on Amazon. I saw one typing error, so she needs to tighten that thing up. So it's amazing. Even when I watch CNN like when I'm in the gym and there's putting the teletape through, I see a misspelled word. So that's the hardest. You can't ever get it perfect, and I'm a perfectionist, and it just drives me crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think there's only so much you could do, though. Like, I feel like you seem like the type of person who's going to give their all into making sure that the book is 100% edited. Hey, if one little typo gets out, I'm not going to tell anyone. So we're on the same team here. So
yeah, you're a great guy. That's why.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I'll definitely be sure to quote that and hang it up on my wall. So when somebody says something negative, and I'm sure there's not a lot, but of course everyone, especially when you put yourself out there, you're going to get negativity from someone. Even if it's someone saying, hey, I just don't like your book. Does that ever bother you, or are you the type of person who's going to say, you know what, it happens. Like, you can't please everyone.
Absolutely. No, it doesn't faze me a bit. I just feel like they probably would be rather locked up in a hotel where they feel really safe behind locked doors with a TV show. So if that's their game, You know, that's their game. So no, it doesn't bother me a bit.
No.
That comes with being out there in the public eye. To tell you the truth.
Yep. No, I completely agree, and I think that's why you're a successful author, because you're able to take that with a grain of salt and realize that, hey, can't please everyone. And no matter who you are, I don't care if you're the most saintly person and you're the best writer. There's always going to be people who are angry. You know, and of course, some of it might stem from jealousy that you have a successful book and they don't. That's just how people operate, I guess. Also, if you're in the chat room right now, for whoever's in here, come and ask any questions. I see a bunch of comments coming in, and I'll try to weave them in as well. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and I'll relay them to Tina. So Tina, you're also you host presentations of your photography. I'm really interested in that. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I have 5,000 images that I have taken around the world, wow. And I use those and some video, and I use those to inspire people to see what a true Muslim looks like in Sudan or Tunisia or Morocco, and show them that they're really happy people around the world too, no matter what they dress or what words they speak or what language or anything. So that actually, other than talking about it, if they haven't read my book, by them seeing the slideshow presentation, it puts them there on the spot on Google Maps.
Wow.
And seeing with me. So that's just as powerful.
That's cool. No, I feel like when you say picture, it's like it tells 1,000 words or whatever it is. That your pictures probably have a lot more than 1,000 or 1,000 words. So when you show people these pictures, I'm sure they get. It's like you're walking into this completely other world, because one of these pictures is this whole story of something that you've done and how you've gotten to that point. So I feel like that's something to be extremely proud of. Like, I know if I had all these pictures of me traveling the world, I'd want to show everyone, because it took a unique journey to lead up to that picture.
Oh, absolutely. I remember in particularly one happy experience. I gave it at a resort, at a restaurant. And oh gosh, I think there were 400 people there standing remotely, and it was during holiday time, so there were a lot of people. And afterwards, a mother and her adult college student daughter came up to me. They're both crying, and they said, "Oh my goodness, I had no idea the rest of the world was such a happy place and so wonderful, and people were so great. I'm going back right now to change my major to international studies, and I can't believe that Muslims are nice people, because you know we're just getting the news, and we all know what that's like. So everybody's nice around the world. That's what my shows do.
Wow, that's cool. Like, and I feel like the world, and especially America right now, needs them more than anything. That the world is universally, if everyone looks at it, you know, it's a happy place. There's a lot of good out there. I feel like that'll do everyone a lot better as a whole. So I really appreciate it. I think that's a genius thing that you're doing, and I know a lot of people out there appreciate that as well. And you also inspiring people to change their beliefs to do something they truly want to love must be a pretty awesome feeling.
Right, and a lot of people are scared to go outside of a tour and have your little setup and your hotel set up and your meals outside for you. But I'm telling you, that's the most unlearned way, if there's such a word, that you can travel. Wow. To really get off the grid and have no plans and let it unfold as you go. You end up being in people's homes. They love you. They bless you. They care for you when you're sick, and you just get a totally different experience. But you have to go without the look of fear in your face or in your heart. Otherwise, you will be blocked from having a positive experience.
Wow. That's amazing. No, that really is, and I like what you said about fear. If when you're exploring these other places, you really can't go into it nervous about things. You're going into completely new cultures and new adventures. You have to be with an open mind and open heart, and that I feel like that'll lead you to having the most fulfilled and best time you possibly can.
Right, in life as well. Greet everybody with hello. I remember having a guest visit me when we were in the Bahamas. She says, "Oh my goodness, I'm so scared." She says, "Because everyone says hello to me, and I know they're just going to be asking me for money next." I said, "Oh, sweetheart, you got the wrong impression. Everybody says hi to everybody around here, even if you don't know them. It's just like being in a small southern town. You know, you carry that with you, and everybody's going to be happy and smile back at you." I don't know where she was from, but they're not used to saying hi, I guess.
I don't want to go wherever she's from. I'm not going to vacation.
No, me neither. Yeah.
So we got some questions from some of the commenters in the chat. Kathy says, what kind books did you read growing up, and did you always know you wanted to be a writer?
Yes, I always knew I wanted to be a writer. I just didn't know how to become one.
Mm-hmm.
And I always read nonfiction, particularly of people in other countries, and memoirs. I think I've read like 300 memoirs. And when I was in grade school, it was like Amelia Earhart, all those heroines that you could eat. I read all of them in the library, and then they had to go get some more for me. So yeah.
Wow. So you were beating the system. You were reading so much. They had to bring new books for you.
You know, right. And that was good. But you can't write if you don't read. And I'm shocked at how many people actually don't read anymore. They say, "Oh, it looks like a good book to me, but I really don't have time." Well, you know, if you really want to grow as a person, start reading.
Yep.
And read nonfiction, or at least read historical fiction, something that will challenge your mind.
Yep. That's my biggest pet peeve is when people say they don't have time for reading. Because nobody works 24 hours a day. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You could always set, and I've made videos on this so many times, you could always set aside time to read. So I love that you said that. There's never an excuse why someone can't make time for reading. And I hope as we do these interviews and people like you write these books that more people say, you know what, I'm going to pick up a book today and learn something. Because in the world we live in, the way to succeed and to live more is to really get to intake all of this knowledge. And I hope people see that as well. But I'm sure as more people like you keep writing books, and there's always going to be new people who pick up a book each and every day and hopefully learn something from it.
Oh, I hope so, Adam. I sure hope so. That's my life goal, is if I can just teach one person, I'm happy.
Yeah, I think we've already accomplished that, and then some. So I think you're teaching people just on this just one interview. So if this was the only 20 minutes of your life, you would have taught someone. And me. So I think it all works out. But we also have two questions from Denasia and Kathy. They both asked the same question. They both asked in one way or the other, do you have any advice for someone who wants to write a book and aspiring authors?
Oh, yes. Start writing magazine articles or in your local newspaper. So that's how I first started writing, because I needed to get used to rejection and what the people, you know, how your market was. So I first started writing for my local high school paper, believe it or not. And of course, they love everything when you're in high school. And I thought it was lousy writing, but they loved it. And you just go to the easiest where you can build up your confidence, because I had zero confidence, and I started small, and I wasn't ready for the big time. And I just started off small and gradually improved my trade, read more. I read books on how to write books, and I just kept reading. And you know what? I saw a movie once about Hemingway, and he said to someone, he says, "I'm a lousy writer." He said, "It's all about practice, practice, practice." And Hemingway didn't have an educational teacher on writing. He just kept trying and trying and trying. And my early writing, I see now, wow, that was really early. But I graduated into better writing the more I did it. So if you start locally, just a newsletter in your neighborhood, anything for free, and then it branch into just trying more and more and more, and it will evolve if you keep reading and writing.
Wow. That's perfect advice. Most people are afraid to even try. So if you start somewhere where you're not going to be put out to too many people, and especially if you've never been critiqued before, it's a good place to start. Whether it's local, high school, I think that's an amazing idea. Even if there's so many places online you could write for. Start a blog, do something like that. I think that's extremely good advice. And look, it worked for you. You're working on another book right now, and you've won awards as an author. So if you're going to listen to anyone, listen to Tina. Paul asked, and this is a great question, Paul Lawrence, he said, does she agree that many people who don't read are short of some critical knowledge and diversity?
Well, I don't like to presume anything because I think that's unfair to judge. I would have to meet the person, and I bet I could pull out of them their diversity. Maybe if they don't read, maybe they pull their diversity out of foreign films. Now, there are some people that just can't have the attention span to read. So maybe they watch foreign films. Like if I'm going to relax and watch movies, it's always going to be coming from a foreign country. So that person could be receiving their diversity that way. So no, I couldn't comment that way at all. That's unfair.
Maybe it's fair to say that people who do read might have a good chance to pull that critical knowledge and diversity out. But people who don't read, we can't say that they don't have the same critical knowledge and diversity.
Yeah, who would know? But I would encourage everybody to seek more diversity through reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's cool that a lot of people, I've listened to different podcasts and read blogs, and a lot of people are trying to read from diverse authors, not whether it's different cultures or different countries. I think that's a cool idea. So, and another thing is keep expanding what you're reading. If you read outside your comfort zone, I feel like you learn more. So don't just read the same books all the time, and I think that's something that I try to live by when I read, because I always, even if it's something I'm like, I wouldn't be interested in that, you could learn something from it, and maybe you'll love it and find a new genre that you're absolutely in love with.
Absolutely. Good advice.
Thanks. You too. Okay, so Kathy, also another question from Kathy, and she says, did you ever have a moment of doubt when it came to writing? Like where you thought it wasn't for you, or you need to find something else?
Well, you know what? I'm born somehow with no fear factor. So I feel like I'm tuned into the world pretty good. So if I feel pretty positive about something, I don't know where it's going to go, but I feel like if I put my best foot forward and just plunge into it, most of the time it's going to work out. And so I don't allow doubt to creep into my psyche, because that will throw the fear factor at me again, and I don't allow that. I draw a circle around myself every day, and I don't allow any negativity to enter it. I don't hang around negative friends. I don't hang around toxic vampires. I don't let people mistreat me. I don't allow doubt anywhere, anytime, from anybody. And if they want to criticize me, then I accept it. But I tell you one thing, no matter what I put my mind to, as long as I give 100% of myself, I know it's going to work out for the good for me. It may not be the outcome that I expected, but I'm just going to try.
No, that's the best answer you could have given there. And then Kathy's already saying she loves that answer a lot, and fear runs her life sometimes. I think Tina said it perfectly. If you truly give your all, there's no regrets you can have. You did everything you could to reach your outcome. Yeah. And I'm sure there's been times where you were writing, and it's not an easy thing to write a book. Obviously, I've never written a book, and by talking to authors, it's a process. So you put everything you had into it, and you had an amazing outcome, and people have enjoyed what you wrote. And I'm sure there's tons of authors who haven't had that outcome, who've given their all, and it just doesn't pan out that way. But as long as you put your all into it, it's better to live without regrets and work hard at something than say, you know what, I'm not going to do that, and then look back one day and say, I wish I would have done that, and regret.
Oh, absolutely. Well, see, I'm a cancer survivor, so I know that day when it's your last day on earth. And ever since that day when I was 42, I'm dating myself again, I said, from here on out, I'm on fast track. I'm going to do everything that I had my dreams for. No ifs, ands, or buts, or excuses, no regrets. We're going forward. Wow. So live your life like that, like there's no tomorrow. And that's the old adage is really true.
Wow, that's amazing. And the funny thing is that usually when someone beats cancer, obviously it's so amazing and such an accomplishment. You've done so much. I didn't even know that about you. There's so many accolades that you have, Tina, that was just amidst everything. So that's an amazing story, though. They could do a whole nother podcast talking about that, though. Congratulations. That's phenomenal.
Well, thank you. Actually, Bluewater Walkabout into Africa, one of its main criticisms was the last chapter. Was when I was diagnosed, and it was the cliffhanger to the prelude of the book that's coming out in a couple months about Into the Pacific. So I got a lot of criticism on that, but that's how I felt about that chapter. I just had to end it because I felt like my life was ending, and I wanted people to feel that experience.
Wow, and maybe people critique it because they don't, like, when you just explained that to me, like, I got chills. Like, you wanted people to go through, and of course that you can't duplicate that, but in a way, go through what you went through, in that not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow. And I think that's awesome, and And I feel like that was the best sell for your book. If I was gonna tell someone one thing from this whole broadcast to read your book, it would be that little string of audio right there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem at all. No, for sure. We also have 2 Amazon gift cards to give away. What we're gonna do is ask 2 trivia questions about Tina. And whether you're watching, we're going to give full 24 hours because people, of course, if you're not watching live, they're going to watch this later. Full 24 hours. All you have to do is list the answer to both of these questions. The first question is, where did Tina jump overboard? Like, where in the world? It's one place, not a trick question. And 2, what treasure did her son Warren look for in Africa? That's it. Just got to answer the questions. You answer them now, you get them right. It's the first come, first serve. Whoever gets it right first will win one of the 2 Amazon gift cards. The second person to get it right will win the other Amazon gift card, obviously. So, Tina, we've been on for 25 minutes. I'd love to have you back on for another broadcast whenever you're available. I know you'll be traveling all over, so thank you so much. It was truly an honor to talk to you, and you really are an inspiration. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Adam. It was an entirely pleasure of mine.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And you're the first person I've done a lot of the interviews not live. This is the first live interview, and I think I don't want to get any other authors upset, but I had a blast with this, and it was truly such a fun time. So, maybe we could have you on another time. We could talk about advice for writers, because I feel like there's so much there, and we could dive a little more into some of your stories.
Oh, whatever you want, Adam. I'm all yours.
Thanks so much, Tina. And guys, Tina, where could everyone find you? Where social media? Where could they find your book?
Oh, I'm real big on social media. Just type my name in. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Awesome.
And hit me up on Facebook. I'm there quite regularly. So
great. No,
I'll
link everything. Yeah, of course. If we can do it without Facebook, but I'll link you everywhere. I'll also link Bluewater Walkabout into Africa, and we'll put up your Amazon author page and wherever they could find you, because of course you said you're coming out with your next book, and you've written it Bluewater Walkabout into the Caribbean, so of course we want to link that as well. But our book of the month is Bluewater Walkabout into Africa. Tina, once again, thank you so much, and everyone who is here, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see everyone soon. Have a good one.
Thank you.